G'day, welcome to the ring. This is week 3. I'm Fish on a heater, and to my right, your left is Dr. Trotter. How you doing, Trotter?
Yeah, good mate, really good. I caught a shiny Yanma this morning, so I'm pumped and loving it.
Oh,
And
sweet as.
ready for some battles, right? That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
so today we're doing some battles, and obviously we've got our carryover champion Necro, 5-1, up against our challenger, new challenger. So who have we got as challenging today, Fish?
Today we have one of the most well-known battlers in Australia. His name is PvP Steve on YouTube, or just Steve7 is his in-game name. He is an ace. I think he's the first ace challenger that we've had to come up against Necro, and he's one of the biggest, probably the biggest PvP YouTuber in Australia. Definitely not the biggest Pokemon Go YouTuber. We all know who that is in Australia. But yeah, he's a very popular guy, and he really knows his meta, knows his stuff.
Yeah, Steve, really popular. Cranks out some serious battle videos. Like the first week a new meta comes out, he's like got an infographic out. He loves his MS Paint, and he's just hitting you hard. So if you haven't, make sure you go check out some of Steve's content. It's really worthwhile getting a really good feel for that meta early on, especially.
Yeah, totally. I wish we'd thought to get one of his infographics and pop it into the corner while we battled, but that's alright. We'll just chuck a link to his channel down in the comments.
Well, he won't have an infographic for this one because it was such an early meta this cup. There's been new Pokemon out, so
Yeah.
it has changed up a fair bit, which is really interesting. And I think you're going to see one very prominent Pokemon in this cup that wasn't in existence earlier.
You got to tell us what the meta is, though.
The meta, the meta. That's a good point. Um,
what are we
but I don't
battling?
remember
What's the meta?
Oh, sorry, I haven't said we're battling. Yo, we're doing Tempest Cup. Sorry.
Yeah, Tempest
This
Cup.
was
That's the one.
Tempest Cup. Sorry, I was like, man, what types are in Tempest Cup again? Um,
So
But
yeah,
Tempest
Tempest
Cup
Cup
was my-
is. I'll take it from here,
was my
Trotter. Tempest Cup
Yeah,
is
please.
electric, ice, ground, and flying type Pokemon. It was the third cup that Silph Arena did. Back before anyone knew what it was doing. Before there were even individual Pokemon bands. Yeah, it's one of the OGs. You know, season 1. How did you do
Was
in
this
Tempest Cup?
is this a double Skarmory thing?
No, that
Is
was
this the cup
Boulder.
where that was Boulder, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Boulder Cup was like the first cup, and like people were bringing their double Skarmories, and then like something to counter Steelix or something, and then that like after that the arena came out and said, yeah, no duplicates.
Yeah. So this was my first ever Sylph tournament that I actually
Ooh.
managed to attend. So I think I went 3-1 in my very first. So that kind of kicks out of me like, hey, I can do this. Like I'm enjoying it, and I won 3 times, right? Unbeknownst, 2 of those wins because my opponent couldn't counter a Graveler, so it was kind
You're
of
right.
a little bit cheap, but yeah,
That's
it was
the
good.
thing.
It was good.
Like that's it. This was all before we really knew what a balanced team was and what we were really doing. So that happened a lot more common.
Yeah, it's exactly. And now there's nowhere to hide, right? There's so much content out there for people. There's nowhere to hide. Um, Steve is up against the champ, so champ's got it's got numbers on the board. Is Steve going to be able to come out with something that can take him down?
Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at the teams. So we've got Necro bringing the Galarian Stunfisk, the Magnezone, which I don't think was out back when Tempest Cup was originally a thing. We got Swampert, we got Lapras, Tropius, and Skarmory, a double flyer team there. Then we got Steve has brought the Altaria, also brought the Galarian Stunfisk, also brought a Skarmory and a Swampert, so 3 Pokemon matching on each team. He's gone with the Alolan Sandslash, and he's gone with a Abomasnow, the Razor Leafer. Trotter.
Yeah, Bomberslow. That was something I ran. I love the good old Razor Leaf on a Bombersnow, but there's not too much scope for Razor Leaf really against Necro's team. I mean, there's a little bit, but I'd be surprised if we saw a lot of a Bombersnow from Steve. Interestingly, Tropius for Necro Looks great on paper, right? It's going to take out a lot of things as a grass user, but it loses to the other flyers, right? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's he's got double flyer, but Steve's got double flyer, which beats Necro's double flying team. So yeah, it's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, totally. In fact, there's a there's a lot on Steve's team that can handle Atropius right now. The Altari will beat it, the G-Fisk will beat it, Skarmory, the Alolan Sandslash, and I don't think the Abomasnow beats Atropius,
Abomasnow
right?
doesn't. No,
Yeah.
the flying unless it's somehow it's a powder snow or bomber snow, and Steve's
Which is
like,
possible.
It's possible it could have gone somewhere different. But the interesting thing is the Stunfisk Tropius. That's actually a pretty close matchup, unless it's not a Razor Leaf. If it's Leaf Blade, equal shields all goes to the Trappy Fish. But Razor Leaf means that Necro can shield up. Doesn't have to shield up a lot of those rock throws, but rock slides. But yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup. I can see that happening a little bit, and it also still depends on if somebody switches in with energy or where they come in and out of those matchups. So it's not as clean cut as you may think.
Right. But as we have established that there is so much on Steve's team that can counter the Tropius, do you think Necro just leaves Tropius on the shelf tonight?
No,
Nah?
I'm seeing that Tropius because there's such a need to take out some of like Swampert, right? That's the only real hard thing that's going to beat a Swampert.
Yeah, the
On
only
Necro
other
team.
thing that comes close is the Lapras, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, and that's if Lapras comes in with some energy, it's not ideal, right?
Yeah, cool. All right, you ready to go?
I'm ready to go round one. Let's
Alright.
do it.
Battle number 1.
I'm ready for I'm always an underdog fan here.
Alright,
I don't feel there is.
so we've got a mirror lead with this, the Swampert versus the Swampert. Looks like Steve is looking to switch out and has timed it. Didn't catch the charge move. So now we've got an Abomasnow, which is running the Razor Leaf, versus the Galarian Stunfisk. The G-Fisk is going to throw the Rock Slide. Now, if this thing gets hit, which it does, it's going to take out a lot of its health. So I think this next one, well, I mean, if it goes unshielded, then Steve is at a huge disadvantage. I don't think this Outrage is going to really do too much. I don't even think it's going to knock it out from here. The Stunfisk is such a tanky boy. The shield is invested though, so Necro has used a shield, so has Steve. And now this is going to finish off the Abomasnow. So we are down 1 shield each and 1 Pokemon on Steve's side. Trotter.
But the thing is, Stunfisk doesn't have enough energy. It's just going to get farmed down. Oh, it just gets there. That's
You were
big.
saying?
That's big. I thought it was an easy farm down here. Obviously, Rock Slide's not going to do too much. So we've got heaps of extra energy here, but it's a Magnezone. So this has actually put Steve in a really positive position here. This will not KO if Steve wants to keep a shield, but he's going to get to 2 Hydro Pumps well before Necro will. So we should be in a positive matchup here for Steve. He should be able to pull off this win. Now we've got a Magnezone in the back, and what we can see here is Steve does not have Earthquake. So that's going to make a big difference in this battle, not having that Earthquake. Because here, all he needs to do, right? All he has to do is get to this Earthquake and it's GG. Oh, but it's a...
Shadow.
Shadow. It's a Shadow. Is this KO Fish?
I think from this range it's going to KO. Yep, does it.
Oh.
So we have, that is Steve with the win. Win number 1.
So really nice energy management on the Swampert for Steve. Even though he didn't get the switch that he wanted, he didn't even need to use his third Pokemon. Like, he was just in such a positive spot there.
Yeah. Totally.
Really helped him out. So I think Necro could have done a little bit better with that Stunfisk. He was going for all that extra energy, which meant that he was low on health, right? Wasn't able to threaten anything against against that swamp. But if he had had enough energy, he could have got to an Earthquake or something, and really threatened it.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
that was probably the one thing that could have turned the match.
All right, let's move on to battle number 2. Here we go. And we're straight into it. And what a terrible, terrible start for Steve. Steve is waiting and tries to catch that move again, but it doesn't work. And now we have the Abomasnow versus the Skarmory. So this is twice in a row now that Abomasnow has just come out and met an absolute sticky end. So obviously we have been in this position before, and Steve has worked his way out of it just with great energy management. Can Steve do it again this time? That Outrage not doing very much. I believe the Skarmory is at 100 energy now, Trotter.
Yeah, he would have been about 150, I think, once he took out that Abomasnow. Interestingly, choosing to come in with the Altaria to soak a little bit of damage. I really think this is going to be a big uphill battle here for Steve now. Just with if he had got a shield with that Outrage, but that single move, the Abomasnow, really not threatening Necro. And interestingly, no shield there. I would have thought we would have seen a shield and a switch out into the Trappy Fish, so it needs to get some energy. Not going to overly worry about this Sky attack on the Trappy Fish. I should call it Stunfisk, sorry. I'll start calling it Stun.
That's alright, call it a Trappy, call it G-Man, call it whatever you want.
But it's a big uphill battle here for Steve, and I think Necro really showing that by just not even worrying about baits, just knowing going straight Earthquake, he's going to get shield or it's going to kill, because he's got enough in the back to take care of it. Is there anything Steve can do here, Fish, to bring this one back?
Look, I am doubtful. Obviously, he's just lost that G-Fisk, which was such an important one. The Rock Slide is gonna do... It'll take 2 Rock Slides to take out the Lapras. Obviously, Necro's not gonna take that chance. So, Necro's just burned his first shield. And this Surf is going to... Do you think it'll knock the G-Fisk out from this range? We will never find out.
We're not going to find out. But I don't know if you noticed, Steve popped up that switch window. Looks like he's really trying to catch the next Surf.
Yep, I did notice that.
The Altaria.
And Necro looks like he is really keeping that that Lapras around.
Oh, he didn't get it. He tried it there too. He tried for it, but it...
Yeah, those catching the charge moves has not really worked for him so far tonight.
Yeah,
so now,
they're too clunky.
Yeah. Obviously, the Ice Shard's gonna wipe out the rest of that Altaria. So obviously, Necro definitely wanted to keep the Lapras as healthy as possible because he knew that Altaria was in the back.
Exactly, and this time, if you notice, he made sure he had a real good grass counter. So Skarmory there, the Abomasnow, that switch in was probably the thing that secured Necro the win there. That aggressive farm might have been a little bit different if Steve had had the Ice Beam on Abomasnow. But yeah, I really see that's where. Hang
on. Does Abomasnow know Ice Beam? I think Abomasnow knows Blizzard.
Blizzard, sorry.
Yeah. See, I was hesitant because I'm like, you are definitely the guy who knows more about meta than me. So I was like, oh, maybe I have this wrong.
No. Look, I learn it for a month and then I forget it. All right. So going through all this old content, it's taking me back. But 1-1, right? So Necro punching back. We're back to evens. I was gonna say even Steven, but I mean, I think that's a bit,
Even Necros.
Yeah.
So what leads have we seen so far? We've seen the double Swampert, and we saw the Altaria versus Galarian Stunfisk.
Yeah,
What do you
I
think
really want to
is
see
coming?
Steve potentially drop that Abomasnow because I think he's shown it enough that Swampet's probably not coming in on Necro's side, and see if he's brave enough to bring in that Alolan Sandslash to take out one of them flyers.
And is Steve just bringing the Abomasnow hoping to get it in against a Swampert? Is there any other reason for it?
Not really. You saw how much damage that Rock Slide did against it. Apart from Stunfisk, there's Lapras, debatable, but
Yeah.
I really think that's where its major strength is, right? Just deleting that Swampert.
Yeah, and yeah, because it's neutral against the ice moves of Lapras, it'll definitely do some work against that Lapras.
Yeah, it will. But Lapras is such a bulky boy, right?
All right,
If Lapras can get to a Skull Bash, that makes a big difference as well.
let's move on to battle number 3. We are 1-1 at the moment. How are we gonna do? What leads are we going to see? We've got the Tropius on Necro's side.
This is what I wanted to see.
The G-Fisk. Here's the one that Trotter is super excited about. We do get a bit of lag, but it is mutual lag. So Steve is bringing up that switch window again. Is he going to catch that charge move? Ends up just throwing the charge move. So are we going to get a shield from Necro? No. Opts to tank it, which is fair enough. That thing doing just less than half damage. The Razor Leaf is going to take it out pretty soon, though. So... Oh, excellent catch! Excellent catch from Necro.
I'm surprised. I think the Shield Razor Leaf is the better option, right?
I'm not sure at the moment, man. No, this is going at a level above my head. So obviously the Swampert has come in to give the G-Fisk a real hard time. Let's see how much this Earthquake does. A lot of damage. So obviously Steve's still farming it up. Farms above the 100 energy.
Steve, throw the Hydro Cannons. Put that pressure
just throw those Hydro Cannons.
Oh, no shield though.
Yeah, just lets it go. Okay, so we've got almost 2 Hydro Cannons left. And Steve correctly predicts the Tropius. He's throwing the charge.
Because there's no health.
Wave.
He's got no health. Takes it out. That's beautiful.
Beautiful. All right, Trotter.
Sorry, man. I'm too keen on I apologize, Necro. I'm sorry. You've won 2. I'm rooting for the underdog. But I'll try and be a little bit more even-handed, right?
Wait. Are you calling Necro the underdog?
No. Necro's definitely not the underdog. He's the champion.
Yeah.
He's dominated. He's only had 2 losses in the entire thing so far. This is a big uphill battle for Steve, though.
Yeah.
Altaria against Lapras. This Lapras is just gonna come to farm, waste 1 shield here, and farm down.
But, okay, so Lapras is Necro's last Pokemon, and it has very little health left.
Yeah, is he gonna get the mud? Is the mud shot gonna be enough to take it out though? Fast moves only, because there's shields aplenty. I feel like
Steve's
this is. I think this is Lapras's, right? If it gets to another surf.
Oh, I don't think so, mate. Yeah, nah, couldn't do it.
Wow.
So that's another one for Steve. Yeah, that did a lot, eh?
Damage. I was not expecting it to do that much. I'll be honest. I mean, I think that battle was really there for Steve to win. The switch from Necro gave the game away to Steve because he had that Swampert in the back to counter, right? So it was really comfortable. Steve probably could have pressured a lot more in that battle. I think it was a lot closer than it needed to be. In the end, though, saving all that energy to be able to throw on the Tropius ended up being a huge advantage. I mean, if Necro shields it, thinking it's a Hydro Cannon, then Steve's not going to get to another Sludge Wave. It's going to get Razor Leaf down so quickly. Yeah, interesting use of shields from both. Interesting use of energy from both.
Do we agree with the switch to the Galarian Stunfisk to catch the Rock Slide?
No.
No?
No, I would have thrown the Leaf Blade, force the shield, use your own shield, and just Razor Leaf down. If you have
Right.
to go to the two shields, if you take both of their shields out and you still win the matchup, that's a win.
And you're not just saying that because we know that the Steve had the Swampert in the back.
No, I'm a staunch believer. If you can win the lead, win it, because sometimes you can switch and catch energy, and that's great. But then you switch into a matchup that's even a bigger loss, and
Yeah.
then you're behind the eight ball
Mhm.
all over
Mhm.
again. Whereas if there's a way for you to come out positive, that may be a good route to take. I'm not saying it always is, but that may
Yeah.
be something you want to think about doing.
Good wrap. All right. So Steve is now 2-1 up. Steve is on match point. Steve is poised to become the first trainer to take Necro out and become our new carryover champion. Are you ready, Trotter?
Bring it on, bring it on.
Let's
See how this one
go.
plays out.
We've got
And
the Abomasnow versus the Galarian Stunfisk. So Necro has won the lead.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
So how quickly is Necro gonna switch out? Opts to not switch it out. Steve's obviously waiting for it. Finally, a caught charge move from Steve. So that Rock Slide is not going to do very much. Now, what are we going to get from Necro? Is he going to switch or is he going to keep it in? Well, he definitely wouldn't have kept it in. No, brings out the Lapras.
Steve is a wizard. How do you know to wait that much energy for that switch? That is just amazing.
Yeah, that's what makes him the #1 PvP YouTuber in Australia. So that's Sludge Wave doing a fair amount of work. Oh, we do get some lag. Now,
There's some serious lag on Steve's side there, yeah.
Yeah, so is that going to make a difference? Obviously, this Surf is going to take it almost out. The Hydro Cannon isn't going to do very much. So
No.
I doubt we're going to see a shield from Necro.
I do think Steve may have been up to a Sludge Wave if he hadn't have lagged there, though.
Right, see, yeah, so Necro might have shielded if he thought that that the Sludge Wave was ready.
Oh, interesting. Comes in with the Skarmory to catch the Surf. I would have thought come in with the Abomasnow, Razor Leaf down, and then come straight back in. But I guess he's going to get some energy up on this in this Skarmory here. So he's going to need it, because out comes the little Rocky boy. And these things are going to put a fair bit of hurt onto this Skarmory, right? So he can't take another one of these. Both mine has still got 2 shields left. I think. Oh, going for the Flash Cannon?
That's not going to be enough. Not going to be enough, surely.
It's worse DPE, right? You're better off going 2 Sky attacks?
Yeah. I think he was hoping for the KO.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, unless Necro decides to go make himself a sandwich, this one is done.
Done.
I can't
It's over.
see anything Steve does. I mean, do you think that lag is enough to warrant a replay though? Obviously, in a Sylph tournament, it
definitely
would.
But in our format, we aren't doing replays for lags. It's GBL rules. It's just hard luck. Deal with it.
Ooh, you guys are hard taskmasters.
I know, right? Arena Astralis, where no one cares how much you lagged. Alright, so that is another one to Necro, and we are at a 2-2 tie.
2-2 tiebreaker. So we've seen Necro bench that Tropius in favor of the Skarmory, which I would hope then we would see Steve pull out that Swampert again. Because if he has benched that Tropius, then Swampert's got a lot more free reign to sort of do its thing. And with that the Shadow Magnezone, you don't really need that Earthquake.
Just a Hydro Cannon will do it.
Just a Hydro Cannon's enough and a few mud shots, and that's it. So, interesting matchup. We're seeing Necro really dominating with that Galarian Stunfisk. It's putting in a lot of good work for him, especially with the Ice and Flyers. So hopefully we can see Steve, if he wants to beat Necro, manage that with the Swampert. Aside from that, Necro just needs to have that Trappy Fish against anything else, and he's good. He's got an advantage, right?
So you're thinking lead with the Trappy Fish if you're Necro?
Lead with the Trappy Fish and have Lapras and well, no, not necessarily Lapras, but making sure you've got things that can take out the Swampert. If he has it, he'll switch it in. Yeah.
All right.
So that's what
Battle
I'm
number 5, the decider. Could we have a new champion, or will we stick with our current Necro winning the first 3 battles of the ring? Let's check it out. Here we go. We've got a Swampert versus Swampert. We got the mirror match again. All right. So, are we gonna see another court charge move from Steve? Going straight for the Hydro Cannon.
So this is the first time I've seen that Steve actually has CMP. It makes a big difference, right, in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I don't think that Steve has too much cause to keep that Swampert going. Obviously, we are gonna see the Trappy Fish. We're assuming we're gonna see the Trappy Fish from Necro's side. So the Swampert
didn't we see it on his Switch time? He didn't bring it.
I missed it. I was too busy watching the other screen.
I think he had Lapras and Skarmory in the back. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I fairly
No,
sure.
I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Lapras
and Skarmory. Okay, so there's no reason to keep the Swampert going, but of course Steve doesn't know that.
No, that's very true. Very true.
Right,
now, very nice switch here from Necro.
Yeah, definitely. So not going to need a shield there. Now we are going to bring in, I think that's the better Pokemon to bring in right there, because a Abomasnow going to be real handy against the Lapras, but obviously the Stunfisk is needed for other potential Pokemon in the back. So
100%.
Definitely the better move there.
Move. And you can see just how much that Razor Leaf actually did rip through that Lapras, right? And with the Skarmory in the back, this is here for Galarian Stunfisk, right? Steve should be very happy seeing that Skarmory come out. So does Steve? No, it's even shield. It's 1 shield each. Outrage will be completely useless, and we're going to see plenty of energy here. Come on, Trappy Fish, bring him out.
Come on,
don't get
come
fancy,
on, Trappy
Steve.
Fish.
You don't need to get fancy here. You don't need to catch.
We got Trappy Fish. All right.
Oh, he did.
Caught the charge move.
Oh my goodness, he's a wizard. There's no other reason for this. This is 100% wizardry.
Was that necessary though? The Sky Attack's not going to do very much. Could have saved it for a different charge move.
Not necessarily at all. But I mean, he knows there's only a very low HP Swampert in the back, so he's not overly worried about anything now. I mean,
Okay.
if anything, that's just given a bigger win away.
Yeah, so obviously with the shield being there on Steve's side, that Hydro Cannon is not going to take it out. Do you think? I think the Mud Shots are going to take out the Swampert before it can get to another Hydro Cannon.
Oh, isn't it almost at another Hydro Cannon?
2, wasn't it? I think it was 1 away from 2 more Hydro Cannons, so I think it can get to it. It does get there. Okay.
This is it. Necro's 1. This is going to take out
the
Trappy
G-Fish.
Fish. Yeah. And it
Was that it?
does.
Was that the last one?
Oh,
Oh
wow.
man! We have a winner!
Wow.
Necro takes it out!
Oh, I was
3 wins for Necro.
I was so sure.
Yeah,
But I mean, that
that's
energy
it's-
generation.
That's exactly
I
what
guess
happened last week.
That's what it comes down to. Energy, that switching out that Lapras and keeping all that energy on his, essentially winning that match, right?
Yeah, totally. Oh, that's insane. Well,
Even though he sacrificed the Lapras, but still that residual energy just put that shielding scenario super strongly in his favor. I mean, I guess there's no real way to know that Steve was going to have that trappy fish in the back. If he did,
Of course.
that's amazing because there were some really, really high level plays from both players there in that match.
Yeah.
And it came down to the energy over the fancy switch, right?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I would have done a lot of the same things that Steve did because I would have expected that trappy fish to be in the team somewhere. We were both saying it. The trappy fish lead from Necro would have been our choice to make. So the fact that Steve was making a lot of those decisions based on that being there, and then Necro, finding a way around needing the G-Fisk in his team. Just meant that he could work those matchups a lot better than what Steve did.
Yeah, completely agree there. And just the use of energy. So the only way I think Steve could have really flipped that match was instead of just farming up to that rock slide on the trappy fish and throwing it against the Skarmory, is farming up to 1.5 because he doesn't have to worry about the flash cannon, doesn't have to worry about the sky attack, right? So the last thing you want to do is throw an attack, leave yourself with no energy, which let Necro switch into the Swampert and get to 2 charge moves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, real good counting, I guess, on Necro's part of the energy that Steve had.
All right. So, that
definitely
is 3 wins. Yeah, go on.
3 wins. I was just saying, that's probably definitely the highest level of play we've seen so far in the ring from both competitors. I think Necro actually had to move to a higher level of competitive play tonight. I think he really, really pulled out some of the stops there. It wasn't. It wasn't. None of those wins were easy, right? That was all interplay and really good from both competitors.
Absolutely. So let's see what comes in next week. Let's see if we can keep up that high quality play. We want to see some good. We want to see someone challenge him, take him down. We want to see someone new at the top of the throne, man.
Look, I thought it would be Steve. I think he had the team. There was some really good interplay, and unfortunately, Steve didn't fall short. Necro just rose up, right?
Yeah. Necro. All credit to Necro, man.
Week after week. So this isn't like just once a month. He's doing this every single week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So clearly showing he's got a really good understanding of each meta and executing that really well too. Puts him way up there. Big focus. Let's hope he can keep this going, and let's hope we can see some other opponents really push the limit. Maybe some spice picks that Necro can't counter. There's a lot more openness to some of these cups now. But I guess he's got the advantage of picking the cup, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. So if you want to take him on at a meta that he's chosen for you, then head to the Arena Australis Discord server, which we'll chuck a link in the description. Head to join a lobby and click on the ring where we will put out a call each week for a new challenger to take on the mighty tyrant that is Necro.
Tyrant?
Yeah, the tyrant.
With an iron fist.
We will catch you again next week.
All right, thanks guys. Appreciate it. Bye.